If you're thinking to buy a house in 2023 and you don't know where to start, it's your first time and you're new to the market, this video is for you. You gotta watch this video to the end because we're gonna dive in with the lender that talks about all the ins and outs. Guys, stay tuned. Let's go dive into the video. Let's go. Let's get ready. Before we jump on the video, my name is Alek Petrov and the host is gonna be myself, right? But then Oleg is gonna be the lender who's gonna talk about all the tips and advice, how to get in the market, how to buy the house. So hopefully you're gonna enjoy this video. Hopefully you'll watch to the end. And if you have any questions about real estate, again, my name is Alek Petrov. I'm here, local realtor agent here in Southwest Florida. I'm super stoked to see you on my channel. And I hope this video will give you all the information that you're looking for when you want to buy the house, when you're ready to buy a house.
If I'm trying to buy a house for the first time and I've been renting all this time and I'm tired of paying rent, I'm tired to pay somebody else mortgage, right? And I want to buy a house. Where should I start even to begin? I mean, what do I do? Like, I want to buy a house.
In theory, you always have to start with the pre-approval. And when I say a pre-approval, I mean like a pre-approval where you submit all your documents and you have us or a loan officer review everything and give you real results. You know, I would definitely say, especially the first-time home buyer, stay away from just submitting stuff online. Very, very few people really look into whether or not you can be qualified or not. A lot of people like to quote rates and payments, but very, very few will actually look at, do you truly qualify, based on a couple different factors that lenders look at. Number one is credit. You know, I would start with, do I have a credit score? And am I using credit wisely? You know, what that really looks like is you don't want to get, you know, to a stage where you max everything out or you have too many credit cards or you co-sign for a ton of people. You really want to have a clean, low monthly payment credit history. And what that looks like is I always suggest people to have 3 accounts. I always say stay away from car loans or any type of installment loans. And we'll get to that later on as to why. But I would say you want to have 3 accounts. If you haven't started building credit, the easiest way is to go into just a local bank and open up what's known as a secured credit card, where essentially you bring them some money, you don't have a credit history, they take that as a deposit and they give you a credit card for that amount. And I always tell people, you know, fill up your car with gas once a month and just pay it off every month. You know, a lot of people go into the whole thing of, you know, utilize 30% of the credit, keep a balance. It's really not necessary. When you're trying to build credit and build a credit history, you want charges and payments happening monthly. And it could be as simple as 1 charge a month, 1 payment a month. So I always say get 3 cards. If you're married, you know, might as well get a joint card. That way you only have 3 cards total, 3 that are reporting on both of your credits. That's really where you start. Now, typically it takes about 4 to 6 months to develop a credit score once you get your first credit card. As long as you have a credit score, now all of a sudden you've opened yourself to a lot of different first-time homebuyer programs out there. Now, there are programs that you can buy a home without a credit score. However, they're harder to qualify for. They do require more down, and they're not necessarily geared towards first-time homebuyers. So I'd say start with credit. Number 2, the second thing that you want to look at is, or understand, is the debt-to-income ratio. Meaning, banks give you a loan. When we qualify you for how much you could qualify for, we look at how much money are you making on one side, this is your income, and then we look at what is your monthly payments on the other. The reason why I said don't do car loans is because that is a monthly payment. That directly affects your debt to income ratio. So if you're trying to qualify, most first-time home buyers, their challenge, especially in a high rate market like we're in right now, is buying power. So when you have a car loan, and let's just say your car payment is $500 a month, that car payment is impacting your ability to qualify for a higher mortgage, because that $500 has to be factored into your total monthly payments that you're allowed to have with your income. So with that said, we talked about payments, installments. Stay away from them. You don't need to buy a car to build credit. Credit cards, pay them off. Keep your monthly payments that are required minimum, 0 if possible, which then allows you to maximize what you qualify for based on your income. So let's talk about income. Now, income, there's 2 ways to look at it. Whenever we work with somebody, we always ask, are you a W-2 employee or are you self-employed? Now, the advantage to being a W-2 employee is we could, in most situations, use all of your income. Meaning, if you make $100,000 a year, $333 a month, we're using that whole amount towards the debt-to-income ratio calculation, which with most programs allows you to qualify for a monthly payment that's half of your income. That is the allowable. Meaning if you're making $8,333 a month, in theory, you qualify for a mortgage payment of a little over $4,000 a month. Now, again, if you have a car loan or 2, and sometimes we see 3 car loans, and let's say combined, those 3 car loans are $2,000 a month. Now you've cut your mortgage buying power in half, right?
Yep.
So if you're gonna buy a car, buy it after you bought a home. Now, going back to self-employment, and this is where a lot of people, you could say, make a mistake when they're self-employed. If you're self-employed and you made that same $100,000, the best thing about being self-employed is you could write off a lot. The worst thing about being self-employed is you could write off a lot, because when it comes to buying a home, if let's just say you made $100,000 and you're self-employed and you wrote off $60,000 for whatever your expenses were, now your income is only $40,000. Which means that if your income is $40,000, you're making $333 a month, let's just say roughly, right? Just roughly in the $3,500 range. Now your maximum that you can afford if you have 0 debt is half of that, which is about $1,600. Well, $1,600 is not going to really get you much buying power today. It's just not. So what we always tell self-employed borrowers is you want to make as much as you possibly can, but really focus on your net. So there are certain write-offs that maybe you could take the following year. Maybe those write-offs, you could apply them in a different way. But the point of the matter is your net income is the most important. And as a self-employed person, that's what you want to look at, because that is what determines your buying power. So we talked about credit, we talked about income. The last part of it is your down payment. Now, a down payment isn't necessary. And a lot of people say, well, if I'm self-employed, or I'm a first-time home buyer or whatever, and I bring money in, does that mean my income doesn't matter? No, it doesn't. Your income still matters. Just because you're bringing a large down payment doesn't mean that income isn't looked at. Now, are there programs out there that will allow you to buy without showing your income? Yes, you need a lot of money down, and the rates are not good at all. The terms are not good at all. Yeah, you don't want them. Do they exist? Do they get marketed? Yes. Is it beneficial to you? No. Most people don't want to do them. Very few people ever do them. So where does a down payment play a role? The minimum down payment, if you're not doing a 0 down loan, which 0 down exists in every county, in every state. There's programs that essentially help you with a down payment. So it's 0 out of your pocket, but there's still a down payment. That's what a lot of people don't understand. Most programs still require a down payment. Now, there are certain programs like VA, if you're military, that you could do it with 0 down. Greatest loan in the world if you have military, if you've been in the military and you have eligibility through the military, VA is the best way to go. Now, there are USDA loans if you're looking in a rural area, which typically means outside of the big city limits, that you could do 0 down as well. Aside from that, the rest of the loans do require a down payment. Again, there's state programs that will help you with that. But what does a down payment mainly do? Well, when we go back to the debt to income ratio that we talked about how you could afford X amount, 50% of your income you could afford towards your mortgage payment, assuming you have 0 debt. What a down payment does is it lowers the mortgage payment, essentially. So if you're putting 20% down, for example, your payment's going to be better than if you're doing 0 down and you have mortgage insurance and other things. Therefore, a down payment essentially buys you more buying power because it gets you a better monthly payment. It doesn't necessarily help you with the rate. It doesn't really do anything as far as getting you into any unique program. It really just allows you to have a better monthly payment because you're borrowing less, which could increase your ultimate purchasing power. So I'd say those are the three things to consider. And I think the most important one of those three, the most important, when people say, what's the most important thing? Of all three, there's programs where you could get away with a bad credit score. I mean, you could have a score down to a 580 and still qualify for a mortgage. There's programs that you don't even need a down payment. So the most important of those three is the debt to income ratio, which is specifically tied to your income. So I'd say keep your income as high as possible and keep your debt as low as possible. If you're planning on car purchases, do them after the home. That is my advice to first-time home buyers.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Oleg.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this video to the end. Go check out my other videos, and I hope you like this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you find this information helpful. If you don't have any questions or if you want to watch any other video, let me know. I'll record it for you. All right, peace out guys. Thank you.